NFTs, non-fungible tokens, low quality, shitty cash grabs surrounded by deception, confusion, and greed. If you've been on the internet the last couple of years, you've likely come across something about them by now. Your mind may quickly flash to images of poorly drawn monkeys, or thousands of Bitcoin wallets emptying at the sight of them. Not only are they harmful to people and communities, but they're hurting the environment too. As an artist online, I can safely say we hate these things with a burning passion. And since they failed so horribly, I think we can all say good riddance to them. Hello everyone, I'm NightOwl33, and today I'm going to be covering the pain NFTs served for over 2 years online. This video essay is intended to be background audio, so feel free to sit back, continue what you were doing while watching, and come on an adventure with me. For those who aren't familiar with what an NFT is, according to Wikipedia, it is, quote, a unique digital identifier that is recorded on a blockchain and is used to certify ownership and authenticity. It cannot be copied, substituted, or subdivided. The ownership of an NFT is recorded in the blockchain and can be transferred by the owner, allowing NFTs to be sold and traded, end quote. Reportedly easy to make, almost anyone can mint, create, an NFT if they have the money. Although this video will mostly be focusing on the social impacts of NFTs, I have to bring up the controversial environmental impact these things have. As written by Ali Grace Garnett, an investment banker and journalist on Investopedia.com, quote, minting a single NFT using a proof-of-work blockchain uses the same amount of electricity an average American household uses in about 47 days, end quote. Though not equally applicable across all methods of minting and managing the blockchain, the existence of these tokens do pose a serious threat to the environment and can easily add to carbon emissions if energy-efficient methods are not chosen whenever an NFT is created or transferred. NFTs have been a popular method for ill-intentioned people to scam folks, from phishing fake NFTs through inauthentic websites to the common rug pull of hyping an idea up and leaving when enough money is gathered. The marketplace was full of these schemes back in the NFT heyday. The people who sold NFTs artificially inflated both the emotional and literal worth of the product through their advertising. A majority of NFTs have the face of a piece of media. They typically consist of randomly generated images from a set of possible options given to a generator. Certain traits are considered rarer than others, hence more valuable. Often to promote themselves, NFT creators would give celebrities rare generations to add to the fad. They would even trade amongst each other or with themselves across separate accounts. These actions artificially increase the value of these tokens. This rarity system gave a false feeling of scarcity when, in reality, a digital good cannot run out. As long as they kept appearances up, they could keep getting buyers and money. One major example of special scarcity is that of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Arguably the most well-known trend in its field, Bored Apes are usually sampled as the face of NFTs. They are lazily thrown together, randomly generated images. They generated a lot of buzz across the web, aided by the seller's mystical but artificial Cool Kids Club. As the official website for Bored Ape Yacht Club states, quote, BAYC is a collection of 10,000 Bored Ape NFTs, unique digital collectibles living on the Ethereum blockchain. Your Bored Ape doubles as your Yacht Club membership card and grants access to members-only benefits. Each Bored Ape is unique and programmatically generated from over 170 possible traits. All apes are dope, but some are rarer than others. When you buy a Bored Ape, you're not simply buying an avatar or a provably rare piece of art, you are gaining membership access to a club whose benefits and offerings will increase over time. Your Bored Ape can serve as your digital identity and open doors for you." End quote. BAYC encouraged the idea that their apes were not only one of a kind, popular, and rare, but that there were serious extra benefits to owning one. Many folks took their apes and made them their sole personality trait online, turning their profile pictures NFTs, their posts NFTs, all praising them as being something bigger than they actually were. Remember how I said NFTs were easy to make? Well, they are so easy to make that you don't even have to own the media linked to it. Artists were faced with art theft, while NFTs profited from their stolen work online. Although those who were pro-NFTs often claimed artists could profit off it by selling their work as NFTs, artists, including myself, saw it for what it truly was: a failure. There are better ways of profiting off your work, including regular commissions, where you are paid a set amount for your work. And if content theft wasn't bad enough, NFTs became extra controversial in the art community when people started using deceased artists' work. In December 2021, the late Stan Lee's Twitter account was used to promote an NFT collection with his character Chakra the Invincible. Although worded as a tribute to the creator and the success of the character, the promotion was a misuse of the famous Marvel artist's image. In another instance, famous artist Ching Khan, also known online as Chinny, had her art stolen for NFTs. Ching had passed away in February 2020 due to cancer. A little over a year later, in April 2021, her brother Z was alerted that his sister's art was being used for NFTs. He and Ching's fans created an outrage online over the blatant disrespect. As Z put it himself, it is, quote, "just a morally shitty thing to do," end quote. Artists everywhere united over these events and similar occurrences of people impersonating and stealing the works of hundreds. All this to sell NFTs, cementing the overwhelming dislike artists have for them to this day. Artists were not the only ones majorly affected by the NFT craze. Media consumers, like gamers, and the creators of these medias were heavily affected by NFTs during 2021 and 2022. Whether out of a lack of understanding for what NFTs are, or just hoping to follow the craze, perhaps purely out of a desire for profit, plenty of media creators either considered the idea or followed through with it, enraging their fan bases. Five Nights at Freddy's creator and game developer Scott Cawthon initially was going to enter a deal to create NFTs based off his games, before fully realizing what NFTs actually were, stating on Reddit he, quote, "thought it was just a trend like fidget spinners," end quote, and backed out of the deal after hearing fan backlash. Similarly, Mob Games, the company behind puzzle horror game Poppy Playtime, created a collection of NFTs to tease the next chapter of their game. Fans and haters alike let out an outcry, and the CEO eventually released a statement that they regretted the NFTs but could not discontinue them due to being under contract. They would, however, donate their earnings to the Clean Air Task Force, a charity devoted to work against the impacts of climate change. Even as late as July 2023, Warner Bros. The Flash 2023 film ended up as, quote, "the first new release movie to hit the blockchain," end quote. Two versions were made, with a mystery edition priced at $35 with 10,000 copies and a premium edition priced at $100 with 2,000 copies minted. Purchasing meant consumers were able to own a digital copy of the film, gain access to bonus content, and view a handful of augmented reality digital locations, things people compared to an interactive version of a home release menu. One final major example of online communities being negatively affected by NFTs is one that is personal to me, and that has impacted me as an artist and a gamer. On September 9th, 2010, company Wildworks, in collaboration with National Geographic, released Animal Jam, an MMO intended for children 12 and under to serve as a social online playground that would educate the player base about the environment. I was one of the millions that played the game religiously in my childhood. In more recent years, Animal Jam's in-game news spoke out against NFT-related technology in an educational manner to highlight the harmful environmental impact the blockchain has. 2019 brought new intrigue with the announcement and early access release of Feral, an MMO meant to follow the success of Animal Jam, intended for players 13 and older. The game was full of mythical fantasy creatures, large quantities of customization, a world with rich lore, and included more mature themes and language. The functionality of the game encouraged a greater social connection between players and highlighted the modern and creative nature of their audience. Thousands of teenage and young adult artists were invested in the game, and many wanted to get into the private early access testing phases. I was one of the folks that signed up. I came in during Wave 6 of this testing period, the final phase of closed beta before the game became limited early access. I made a lot of new friends, and considering this inclusion was during the start of the 2020 pandemic quarantine, it was my primary way of social interaction. Feral led me to where I am today socially, and has influenced who I am. It and the people I met became my and other players' world for the months I was locked inside. Those months saw plentiful updates full of exciting new additions, and hype for the game only increased. Eventually, though, the updates stopped coming in, and during late November 2021, the players would find out a huge reason why. Cinder. Clark Stacy, CEO of Wildworks, became interested in NFTs and assumed they would be profitable for the company to invest in. NFT-related metaverse games were cropping up, and Clark wanted to be part of that. Cinder was announced to the Feral player base and was met with disapproval and outrage. This was furthered by the game's inherent copy-paste of Feral's world and reuse of assets. It was clear through advertising that at base, this game was a stripped-down, less creative version of Feral. To add fuel to the fire, on Cinder's official website, they listed their ability to promise what Cinder was selling, quote, because they've been building and testing the platform for Cinder for 2 years with another game, not engineered around blockchain tech. So they took some scaffolding from that world, formed a new team devoted to innovation in crypto gaming, and set them loose with the head start of a fully functional MMO platform, end quote. On paper, this led for many that Feral was a testing ground for Cinder, and although not completely true, it did create a genuine feeling of betrayal in the community. I'll admit I felt similarly. The way the company was deceptively presenting Cinder online as something super fresh, original, and planned, when it was closer to a project made on a whim off the corpse of Feral, was unfair to both Feral players and potential Cinder investors. Their general conduct, lack of accountability, and lack of transparency was also something people wanted to warn Cinder investors about. Wildworks representatives attempted to silence the community over this in a very unprofessional manner, which led to further backlash. February 18th, 2022 saw the simultaneous launch of Cinder and the sudden closure of Feral, likely because Feral would have been viewed as a free-to-play, more expansive alternative to Cinder. People pointed out in the terms of service that Wildworks could not rightfully shut Feral down without a 30-day forewarning, causing the game to relaunch for one more day. March 27th saw a sad send-off to the game. open for a measly 3 hours without in-game chat available for players to properly say goodbye. And where is Cinder now? Well, it crashed and burned to cinders, much like the NFT market in general. On February 8th, 2023, Cinder's servers and website shut down, and the company made to work on it, Cinder Studios, abruptly disbanded, leading to the loss of many jobs. Similarly to Farrell's treatment, Wildworks quickly abandoned the project and stopped posting about it. NFTs as a whole quickly followed suit. According to journalist Justinas V at cybernews.com, as of late September 2023, quote, "The NFT bubble has burst, according to an analysis of 73,257 collections that showed 95% of them to be worthless," end quote, meaning that most NFTs are no longer worth the millions people hyped them up to be a couple years ago. There is no pride in owning an NFT these days. There is only shame and regret. If you didn't get your money's worth back then, there's no way you're going to earn anything now. And I never mentioned what an NFT actually is. This entire time, some of you may have viewed an NFT as a collectible or art. The truth is, the art that is connected to the NFT is just a face. The NFT is not the media attached. The real NFT is the link. The made-up scarcity and value is nothing more than a pretty picture for an ugly scam underneath. And while some NFT sellers, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, give full commercial rights of the apes to their respective owners, it does not begin to make up for the millions of dollars lost in a group's unrealistic, revolutionary fad. NFTs were doomed from the start, and while I am sure some meaningful connections were formed through them, the insurmountable amount of issues, anger, and pain caused by these profitable ventures may never make up for it for the vast majority. From artists' common livelihoods being tossed aside for a more streamlined method of profit, to the destruction of online spaces, to the entire loss of passionate, love-filled projects is painful to witness, and it is a trap that should stay down permanently. I've been your host, Monsell of Nightowl33, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this shit show, hellhole coverage of NFTs, the corruption of creation. Take care, everyone.